All right, today we're going to talk about the Boston Consulting Group model. The Boston Consulting Group model is a strategy model. So if we're talking about placing this in the broader framework of all the theory we've discussed, that's where it goes. This is a model that helps us at the corporate level of strategy. And that's important. Unlike the other strategic model that we covered, the generic model, that was at the business level of strategy. It was talking about how do I help a standalone business with a particular product in a particular market. Here we're answering the question at the corporate level, how do I manage a portfolio of businesses? This model was created by the Boston Consulting Group, the BCG Group. This was a group of Harvard professors. And their client was General Electric. So what was General Electric's problem? General Electric was formed from all the succeeding companies of Thomas Edison. He was not just an inventor, but a real businessman. I mean, he didn't just invent the light bulb and then sell it off to some other company. He created a company to sell light bulbs. He created a company to sell phonographs. He created companies to sell generating equipment. He had companies that commercialized all of his inventions. And eventually, when he got older, he had some investment bankers come up and say, look, let's wrap all this up and call it General Electric. So he did that. And General Electric grew so large that it just couldn't get out of its way. And they found themselves basically making everything that uses electricity, but not being very profitable. So they went to the Boston Consulting Group and they said, we're just in too much. We can't manage this. This is beyond our capability. How do we weed this out and end up with the best to have in our portfolio? And it was that point that they created this model. And this model has 4 quadrants: cash cow, question mark, star, and dog. And I think it's a shame that it has such nice, meaningful names. I wish they'd named them just quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the reason is you're going to get confused by the meaning of the name and want to place a business unit in one of these because you like your dog or it's making money. So don't do that. You place a business unit of the company you're doing this model for in it based on 2 variables: industry growth. And notice this is industry growth. This is not how fast your particular unit is going. So for instance, if I am doing this model for General Electric, one of the parts of this model is the cash cow. And I might put the light bulb as a cash cow. Now, the light bulb, lighting is not a very fast-growing industry. Everybody's got a light bulb. Now, another company might come in there selling LED lighting that might be doing very well. But if the whole of the lighting industry is not growing well, and we've defined this as the lighting industry, then lighting would be a low growth. Now, the other side of this is market share. And so you can see that's why I put lighting in here. It's because General Electric has a high share of the lighting market, but lighting isn't growing particularly well. What does this model do and what is it based on? This model is based on assumptions of the learning curve and cash flow. And the assumption is if we have a high volume that our cost will be lower. And that's, of course, what we want. So we want to have a high market share, because if we have a high market share, that's really saying that we have a high volume. We sell more of this than everybody else. So if we have a high volume, then we should have low costs. And that's a good thing to do. And the other advantage of this is if we have a high volume and low costs, and if the market isn't growing very fast, then we should have lots of cash flow, because we don't have to invest in new plant, new equipment, advertising. I mean, everybody knows about General Electric light bulbs. So we get a lot of cash flow. What should we do with all this cash? Well, what this model says to do is to take that cash and invest